Hi everyone, my name is Layoh and this is my partner.
Hi, my name is Remy.
So today we'll be talking about autism, understanding autism. Because it's Autism Awareness Week, we would like to educate others in our own way. So please watch and of course send questions if you need any help. Remy will be handling this discussion. So over to you, Remy.
Okay, yes, so today we're talking about autism, and it's more of like you filling us in from your wealth of experience, really. So, what is autism?
Okay, first of all, I don't have wealth of experience. It's autism is a topic close to my heart, and yeah, I try to know a lot about it and educate others. So, like you asked, autism spectrum disorder or ASD for short is a complex developmental disorder that comes with several challenges: communication, language, behavior, sensory, social interaction, repetitive and persistent behaviors. It could happen to anybody, male or female. It is not particular to one gender, and it could happen from birth, or it could be something that happened later, as when your child is a toddler. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so when did you first become aware of what autism is, really?
my final level in the university, we had a course called psycholinguistics. So we're actually talking about speech disorder in children, and so my lecturer then gave us an example of a child with autism, and how the parent thought the child has some spiritual problem, and they were going for deliverance. So yeah, so that was how I first came across autism, and I was very curious and I wanted to know more about it. Eventually, I ended up working in an organization where we work with children with special needs, and we have a lot of autistic children in our organization then that we work with. So I ended up knowing a lot about them.
Okay, so from your knowledge of what autism is, I know I've heard some people use phrases like high performing, low performing. Are there classifications under the spectrum?
No, no. Of course, I think at first, if you don't know much about autism, they tell you this is low performing, or rather low functioning. They use word low functioning autistic child because maybe the child can't communicate, or it doesn't have so much behavioral issues, and they say high functioning for the ones that they feel is mild, and low functioning for the ones they feel is severe. But now, if you go to like a lot of websites for autism, like organizations, they tell you there's nothing like low or high functioning. Autism is a broad spectrum. That's why it's called autism spectrum disorder. It's very broad. Everything is under one umbrella. So several child with several challenges. One is much more than the other, and this one can have communication issues, but then doesn't have so much behaviors, and this one can have a lot of behaviors, but then no communication issues. It doesn't mean this is better than this one. It just means they have just mean they have different challenges. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I'm sure you've had some very funny stories like the one you just shared about your lecturer in school. What hotline myths have you heard about autism?
Hmm. Quite a few actually. I've had someone saying, or rather, we've had some people saying you go to India for stem cell surgery and it helps with autism. Uh, for now, there is no science backing that up that stem cell actually works for autism. I've had someone say, yeah, try cannabis or something, cannabis oil, and give it to your child. It improves one brain function, and helps the child communicate more. So no, autism is not a disease that needs to be cured. It's a part of who they are. and you need to accept them just like that and understand them. And of course, we have other myths that is like autistic child are not empathetic and they have no emotions. That's not true. They have emotions. Fine, it might be hard for them to express it, but then they can read your body language and they understand. They might not be able to express it, but they know.
Okay, so as a parent, when you first get that diagnosis, just with any other medical condition, your mind goes back to what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Do you know of any causes for autism? Do you know if it's more prevalent through, or if it's passed through the male gene, for instance, or if it's more through the woman, or really any causes, or is there anyone to blame?
No one to blame. Absolutely no one to be blamed. Autism is something that happens and nobody has figured out why. Nobody knows why it's happening or what's going on during pregnancy that caused it. For now, we don't have any facts to back it up that it is maybe through bad parenting. Even there was a time it was going around that it's caused by vaccination, but then we have kids that had it from like babies, early childhood disorder. It's not caused by vaccination, it's not caused by bad parenting, it's not caused by either of the parents. So no.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm sure a lot of parents will find that really soothing to hear. So that brings us to explaining to your relatives why your child will not talk or will not look them in the face. Are there any tips you can give parents that will make it easier for them to explain to parents, especially relatives who are not so literate? How do you get them to understand that your child is not?
I think that's like one of the hardest thing as a parent with an autistic child, because then a lot of people are ignorant when it comes to children with special needs. They don't understand. So first of all, you yourself need to accept, because then it's when you've accepted something, then you are able to explain it and educate others. So first of all, accept it. Second, explain the basics. For an example, my son is autistic. Be specific to your son. These are his challenges. He doesn't communicate very well. It does not mean he does not understand, but he just can't express himself. He doesn't like you to do this. He does not like you to touch him. He does not like you to hold him. You could wait for him to come and meet you by himself, then it's fine. Or rather, my son likes to be hugged. He's on the sensory. He likes it to be hugged. So yeah, be specific to your child. Don't generalize. Every autistic child, like I said earlier, is different with different challenges. So explain the basics with your child and also share tips on how to communicate with your child. My child likes it when you count numbers. He likes it when you sing. He likes it when you do alphabet sound. He likes it when you make this kind of. So you know your child the best. Teach them to communicate with your child. And if your child does not respond at that moment, it's fine. You should not be upset. You should not feel guilty. And you shouldn't put him under pressure. He will at his own time. So that's it.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So I have just one more question for you, and then that'll be all on our autism talk. So what tips do you think you can share with parents that are raising children with autism? What will make it easier for them and everything?
First of all, be consistent. Just the way you are consistent with your neurotypical children, be consistent with your autistic child. Stick to a schedule. This is how we do it. This is what we do first, what we do next. Children with autism adjust in an environment that has routine. If you just keep bouncing everything, they get anxious and it's not so good for them. So yeah, be consistent, stick to a schedule, reward good behaviors, like make a big deal out of it. Your child is non-verbal and he says a word, oh my god, throw a party. They can feel it even if they cannot express it. They can feel it through a party. Eventually, we attach that action to your behavior. Then he knows every time I do this, mommy or daddy does
Mama's
this.
going
People
to.
around me, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, you do
Yeah.
the same thing to your child. You're trying to potty train your child. The first time, even though it's just a single pool in the bathroom, make a big deal out of it. Yeah. Even just a single word, make a big deal out of it. Create a home safety environment. That is where they should feel safe the most. Let them know that I can go everywhere and be fine. I don't get upset. I don't get injuries. Yeah. Look for non-verbal cues. Especially if you have autistic children that are non-verbal. This is very important. You should know when your child is anxious. You should know when your child is not happy or when there is something wrong with them. They can't express it, so you have to know those. Just like when you have a baby and you know when your baby is angry, sleepy, yeah, you should know that too. You should figure out the motive behind every behavior, tantrums, meltdown. You should figure out the motive. There is this thing in ABA, we call it antecedent. Something needs to happen before that behavior occurs. So let me give an example. Your child is trying to put on their sock and they're finding it difficult, they are frustrated, then they have a tantrum. Help them. So then make time for fun. Please. Don't say because he doesn't communicate you can't play with him. There's a lot of, you play with your babies, don't you? There are a lot of ways you can play with children with autism. You know what they love the most. Use that to interact with them, play with them, and finally pay attention to your child's sensory issues. On the sensory issues, over sensory issues, mixed sensory issues, know everything. That is one of the best ways to avoid meltdown. In public, in the house, know everything. It's very, very important. So yeah, those are the ways you could actually start with. And of course, start a therapy. If you don't know, we would put links under our description where you could go to pages and they could also give you more tips on what to do. Start a therapy. Your therapist will help you better when it comes to interacting and creating a safe place for your child.
All right, thank you very much, Layoh, for sharing those tips with us. I'm sure a whole lot of parents out there will find them really useful.
Yeah.
So we've come to the end of today's session.
And one last thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, before I forget.
Okay, go ahead.
Please, if you know any autistic person or child, they don't need you to put them in a box. They don't need you to put them in a category or section them. No, they need you to understand them. They need you to accept them. They need you to be kind to them. They need you to love them. There is this quote that says even if an autistic child cannot speak, cannot express themselves, they can feel your emotions. They can feel your love. They know you love them, not by you saying it, but by your body language. So please, and every person with an autistic friend, family, love them, please, and accept them. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. So that will be our big takeaway today. We're not looking to put them in boxes. We just need to understand and accept them. Thank you very much again, Layoh, for sharing all the useful information you shared with us. As always, we would always come back to our viewers and tell them that if you have any comments or questions or additions to what we've shared so far, please be kind enough to put them in our comment section. A whole lot of people will be looking to learn. And really, we're just a huge community of learners. Nobody knows it all. So please share your thoughts and questions with us. Yeah, so that's the end of today's session.
And follow us on all our social media platforms, so Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Family Talk, NG. Until next time, stay safe and stay healthy.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.